Hey there, Laurie. How you doing?
What? I'm doing good.
Would you say you are ready to show off this excellent Kirby run of yours?
I would potentially say that. And by potentially, I mean I am. I am ready. Hello.
Alright.
Sorry, there was a bit of confusion on my end, but we're good now. Welcome to Kirby Squeak Squad. This is a very fun Kirby game. One of my favorite games from my favorite series. So I'm really excited. And I'm just gonna get going. So, timer starts in 3, 2, 1, go. So immediately this is kind of just normal Kirby for now, like the first couple stages, but the big thing of this run will kind of appear later on. I'm going to be doing a lot of sliding just because it's faster than running, and then I'm going to grab fire and start using Fireball. As you might be able to tell, this is just a really fast ability to have, and there are going to be faster ones. So we're almost done with this first level. Oh, also, I actually just remembered. I did have a bid war for Kirby color.
Yes, I was going to make mention of that.
I totally blanked on that. I'm sorry.
It's alright. For the looks of things, it's Orange that has won for the color for Kirby.
Alright. Can I ask, actually, are there any other colors that, like, got donations?
Yeah, Lavender is in second place.
Lavender, okay. Any other ones?
I can say to chat if y'all want to donate for another color.
No, don't. Option. The thing in this game is I just picked up a treasure chest, and the goal of 100% is to get all the treasure chests. So I do need to unlock the spray paints.
Oh, yeah, right.
So I was wondering if there was like a second place that I would unlock before Orange, because Orange is the last one that I'm going to be unlocking in the run. I got a treasure chest in that stage. There are 120 of them in the game, and I need to get all of them to get 100%. So we need to wait until like the end of World 3 for me to get Orange. So I was wondering if there were like any other colors, but I'd get Lavender like actually one stage before Orange.
Well, I have to say that it is the only choices that have been donated towards have been
Lavender
Orange and Lavender.
Right.
So yeah,
I can wear I can wear Lavender for the one stage that I play before I get Orange. Between Lavender and Orange, and then I'll wear Orange for the rest of the run. But again, that has to wait until World 3. So here you kind of see some of the big differences between this game and other Kirby games. The stomach kind of inventory system in this game allows me to both store treasure chests and copy abilities. So I can pick up bubbles of copy abilities to save for later. Also, spitting out that treasure chest saves 10 seconds. I spit out the first treasure chest I collected before collecting the big blue one, because if you don't do that, a much longer cutscene plays. I don't know why that works, but it's kind of what makes this Kirby game really unique as a run, because it allows for a lot of different routing options, where you can get some copy abilities a lot easier than others. However, this run still does have some of the normal Kirby things going on, such as mixes, in which you eat 2 enemies and then manipulate a slot wheel to get really good abilities way earlier than intended. Like this wheel I just picked up. Wheel is a really good movement ability because it has the fastest just horizontal movement speed in the game. And then this game has what are called wheel jumps, where if I press jump and then right after press the wheel button, it will like keep giving me height while I transform into the wheel. And I can go ridiculously high with it. So, unlike some Kirby games where wheel really struggles vertically, it is absolutely busted in this game. And it's what you're going to be seeing the most out of the entire run. This is one of the Squeaks. We saw Spinny last stage. This one is Storo. And any stage where there is a big blue chest, you are usually going to see me deal with at least one of the Squeaks. There is a third one named Doc, who is a green dude in a spaceship. For the most part, Storo's the only one we actually have to directly fight. Spinny and Doc usually are like just little platforming challenges or like races that you have to beat them in. But Storo can be annoying because he can, in his little stun phase that happens at about a quarter of his health, he can choose to just fall asleep. And he'll spend like the 3 seconds that he's asleep being invincible. So you can just kind of lose time to bad luck there. And one of the collectibles you get in each stage is actually a secret key that allows you to access an extra stage in each world. So I'm going through the extra stage of World 1 right now. Since there are treasure chests in the extra stages, I do need to go through them and get all the chests in order to get 100%. But they're usually not that bad. This one is pretty simple. It only has 2 treasure chests, so that makes things a little bit easier. But if you mess up, this game is one of the like least forgiving Kirby games in terms of getting your ability back if you get hit. In this game, unless you are crouching, every hit you take will remove your ability if you have one. If you play fighting games, what this means is yes, this game has crouch canceling, which is kind of funny, but very useless. So, we're moving on. We're almost at the first boss because this level's really short. Funny thing about this game is for some reason each world just has this really weird one-off level that literally takes like 20 seconds. And that was this one. It's not always the last level in the world. Sometimes it's like the second to last, but it exists. And with that, we move on to the first boss. DDD is pretty simple in this game. I just need to start and stop my wheel at the right time, and I essentially get him locked in place. Pretty easy. We get an extended dance every time we get a chest, so we get the long dance animation at the end of each level. And then we move on to World 2. For some reason, this is the only time in the game where the game gives us like a special animation to get sent into the next world. So we don't have to go to the world map after World 1. But World 2 is, you know, second verse, same as the first. It's a Kirby game. There are going to be more, like, difficult levels and Squeak chases and things going on with the route. Although, for the most part, I will be trying to keep wheel the entire time. We're going to see Spinny actually come out here, because the other 2 times Spinny showed up, it was kind of a joke section. But, this one, I mean, he's not really going to be able to catch up to us, but it is actually, like, a level that I have to play instead of just 2 jumps and I am done. And then on these bonus games, if I want to, I can usually grab some health here, just in case I'm low on health, because health is a very vital resource. But I decided to just grab an extra life because I could there. I usually don't worry about like game overing in these runs, even if I don't grab any extra lives, but it's a marathon, you can never play it safe enough. So this level doesn't really have anything major, so if there are any announcements or donations, now is a good time. I know it's pretty early into the run, but...
Hey, no worries. We got a $10 anonymous donation saying, much like birds, violas are not real. So, I guess that's that. Now,
Yeah.
we also have a $50 donation from Vixen Blossom saying, "Let's go, Laurie! Woo!"
Woo! Thank you.
Also, just a reminder, if you do donate $50 or more during this event, you will be put into a raffle to win a Nintendo Switch provided by VGM Con. So, if you live in the United States or have a United States shipping address, and you're over the age of 18, and you donate $50 or more, you could win a Nintendo Switch.
So this level gives us one of the best things in the video game, which is a wheel bubble. So I mentioned that the bubble system is really good in this game for routing and, like, you know, having power-ups. So wheel is one of the best abilities in the game, so having kind of just like a wheel on call in your storage is incredible. And we are going to make use of that at the end of this level. Unfortunately, this wheel bubble is one we kind of use immediately, but it is very vital. Also, I got a bit of funny luck. I need to throw this extra ability I have out, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start fusing stars in my inventory, which comes up with another mechanic. So Bubble is an ability exclusive to Kirby Squeak Squad, where what it does is when you defeat an enemy with it, it turns that enemy into a bubble of the enemy you defeated. And using that, you can, you know, get some bubbles in your inventory so you have stuff to use. The other big thing is fusing. So if you cross two things together in your inventory, you can turn them into something else. Some things, like if you mix two copy abilities in your inventory, it's just kind of random what comes up. But if you fuse things like stars or like certain foods, you can just like turn them into better stars or better foods. So in this level, I get a triple star, which if you use bubble on an enemy that doesn't have an ability, you pick up a bubble that when like clicked on just turns into a mouth projectile that you can spit out, just like any other projectile. And that's important because it allows us to get projectiles in our mouths. Using one allows you to get a projectile in your mouth without having to like get rid of your copy ability to gain access to your inhale button. And that's going to be very useful for keeping my wheel while still being able to get an item later in the run. So we have to carry it for a little bit, but it will be worth it. Moving on to 2-5, though. Another pretty self-explanatory level for the first part of it, but there is a pretty big thing in the middle. So, in this treasure room, there is a wheel bubble, and I want to grab that because it is good. This time we get to keep it for more than one level, but I am going to get rid of my wheel here and get Cutter, because Cutter is one of the best abilities for, like, damaging in the game, especially after he gets Upgrade Scroll, and Upgrade Scrolls are another treasure you can find in the chests. But it absolutely just tears through this mini-boss here, and we need this guy's ability for this next chest, but Metal Kirby makes you move really slow, as you can tell, so I try and do some unique movement just to try and use it as little as possible. And as soon as we do that, we want to get Wheel again, but we're not going to use my bubble. Instead, I'm going to use Puff Projectiles to set up a mix with those two Waddle Doos and get Wheel from them. Mixes are 4-frame windows, by the way. So every time I do that, I have to hit a button within a certain span of 4 frames. Which is as fun as it sounds. Okay, never done that one before. So if you have an ability star flying around and you accidentally get another ability, your star is gone. So I just ate an item I didn't even know was edible, and I got a different ability from it. And I lost my wheel. Fortunately, this level right here, A, gives you fire at the beginning for a good back-up movement, and B, you usually get rid of your wheel by like the halfway point anyways, but it is a bit of an unfortunate time loss. Okay, so I didn't want to kill that enemy. I wanted to get the sword. So I do have to go back down to respawn it. There we go. There we go. So Bonkers is pretty big because he has Hammer, which is a really good ability for damage, but also for one major thing, which is hitting these pegs to activate secrets. This game is one of the only Kirby games to not have the stone copy ability, making Hammer the only way to hit pegs like that. So it's absolutely vital for certain secrets, and we also do want to keep it for its damage. There's one move in particular that is incredibly good for damage that we're not going to see until the boss. I still have to finish this level, but rest assured, you're going to see it in a second. Assuming I, live to tell the tale. If I don't, that might be awkward. We should be fine. I grab an invincibility candy from there, and we get the next treasure from a golden Waddle Dee. There are a lot of these things in the game. You just have to defeat it or eat it, and there will be a treasure inside. So this part is really weird. I'm actually going to run instead of slide through this area, because if I slide, that makes Storo on the bottom actually move faster than normal, and it will get him into the hideout before I want him there. So when you have a blue chest segment, the Squeaks can actually take chests from you. If you have a chest in your inventory and they hit you, it will get knocked out. One at a time, though, if you have multiple. And what they try and do is they try and pick up the chest. You can hit it out of their hands, and then they'll try and bring the chest to their inventory, or their hideout, which is like a door that can be entered on a random part of the screen. And if a member of the Squeak squad enters the hideout, then also that was a boss. But if a member of the Squeak squad enters a hideout, then you have to go in the hideout and do a fight against them to get it back, and that wastes a lot of time. So you don't want to deal with that. You just want to get into you just want to get the chest and get out before anything bad happens. I'm very close to dead. And then this is the part here. I'm going to use the triple star so I can break these metal blocks without having to get rid of my wheel. And we can keep moving. I'm going to take a different route than I usually do here to get the Maximata. And it's kind of scary right now because everything is hitting me in this random corner of the stage. Oh my goodness. Okay. Alright, I got all the chests and got my wheel. I've never had to go into that little pouch before to get that Maximata, because I'm usually doing a lot better on health at this point in the run. But, it didn't end horribly. So, that's good, I guess. And now I move on to 3-2, which is a pretty simple stage. There will be a mini-boss in a little bit, which I'll talk about, because with the mini-boss comes something stupid to talk about. You know. Mini-bosses. And that's kind of basically how combat works in this run, with the wheel ability. Which, as you might notice, is not the best for fighting stuff with, really. It's really good for movement, but that's about it. So the way that the wheel works is you have invincibility when you're moving, but when you are turning or forming in and out of the wheel, as you saw there, you can get hit. So what you're hoping for mini-bosses out of Boxy is something that you just saw right there, where the boss will go to the middle of the screen and then not move. But you don't always get that, and it can sometimes be very annoying to fight mini-bosses and bosses in general with wheel, because sometimes they'll just camp in the corner and you can do nothing but get hit every time you try and attack back. But it's fine. Doc is a really easy Squeak to deal with anytime he shows up because his stun hit, every Squeak has one, where like you have to wait for them to get back up, happens on his first hit, and there's only like 1 or 2 times in the run where you're required to fight Doc. So every time he shows up, you just hit him once, grab the chest, and he takes like 5 seconds to get up. You can just be on the other side of the screen by the time he's done. And this is the point where I have to start getting some good luck. So I mentioned earlier bottom screen mixing, and how when you mix two abilities, you don't get anything set in stone, you just get a random ability. There are going to be 2 points in the route I'm using where I need, before a certain level happens, the game to roll me a wheel from the like random pool of abilities that I can get. Because despite all the wheel bubbles that exist in the game, I can't always get what I want. I can get backups for both of them, like if need be, but ideally I will just get the good luck and be able to move on. Alright, so coming up, we have a kind of big level for the route. After like 2 worlds worth of using wheel, I'm finally going to get rid of it for a substantial amount of time. I'm going to grab this fire to jump in this cannon, and we're going to be holding on to it for a few stages. So fire on top of igniting cannon fuses can also do what you saw there and burn through clouds, which is important for getting some chests, but also will come into play during the boss fight. And if you're a casual, it won't really affect me at all, and I'll kind of like show why when I get to the next boss fight. But fire is usually pretty funny in World 3 because there are a lot of clouds and it destroys all of them. This chest here is pretty important because if I mess it up, I have to die and restart the room. I need to slide twice. There we go. That input can be a little finicky, especially if you try and do it fast, so it was a little bit scary. And then here's what you usually see from Spinny whenever he shows up, is these like race sections where the Squeak is in a different corridor than you, and you just kind of need to get through your part of the stage first. And then go and grab the chest. He's right here. They're usually not too bad. Some of them can be scary, but this one is not. So, since I heard there were some donations from Lavender, we get orange next stage, which was the winner of the bid war, but for the Lavender.
I actually wanted to give you a quick update on that.
Interesting.
So, we actually forgot to close the bid war. So someone actually sniped green.
Oh, interesting.
So, yes, we are green Kirby now, but I guess we're lavender for the time being.
Yeah, we're Lavender for the time being. I'll give the orange fans, since it seems like you forgot to close it, I'll give the orange fans some love and wear orange for the last stage and the boss of World 3. And then from World 4 onward, we'll be full-on green.
Alright, that seems good. A good compromise.
Yeah. That is a turn of events.
Yeah.
It's really weird to close because you get green in like 1-4, and then you get orange in the extra stage of World 3. So I usually just end up like not sure when we should close that bid war. But we'll just do what works.
Would I also be able to read a couple donations, perchance?
Yeah, go for it. Not much going on in the next,
Alright.
like, 2 levels.
Okay. We have a $103 donation from Kirby Volt saying someone's got to do that last dollar. And we were at $63.99 for context. And we received a $1 donation from Anonymous saying, play with the power, the Arcadian. So we are at $6,400 raised for Sweet Relief.
Nice.
And we also have a $5 donation that just came in from Gambit017 saying, oh, it's just a Final Fantasy Mystic Quest character name for Flurry. So thank you for the donation. And yeah, $6,405 raised so far. That is excellent.
Alright. Awesome. That's a great amount. So this is 3-5. It's kind of our one-off level. But there is a legitimately scary portion. Right here, I am going to have to race a cloud. Also, there's my luck-based wheel. Awesome. I don't need to worry about it. I think the cutoff for this wheel, like this wheel that I just mixed now, the area I usually need to get it is like the bonus stage of World 5, so I have it very early now. But now I can move on to the boss, which is a very silly one. So this Kirby game was too cool for Kracko. It has to have Mecha Kracko, and Mecha Kracko just kind of dies to invincibility. And then there's a Phase 2. And Phase 2 also dies to invincibility. And yeah, that's funny. A lot of people that have played this game casually probably advise against using fire in this boss fight because it burns the cloud platforms that the fight takes place on. But just bring an invincibility candy to that fight. Honestly. You'll be fine. And then coming up here... Oh, I messed this up. We have an interesting mid-boss coming up. Kind of one of the more annoying ones, honestly, but... Okay, the projectile start is good. And walked at me. Boxer kind of grabs you when he approaches you, and that can be really annoying to deal with because it's a very long animation, and he's very adamant about grabbing you. However, anytime he does any other attack, we can usually beat it out, and that's that fight. And then I get rid of my cutter. I use it for one chest and one fight, and it's gone. That's kind of the theme of the run. Oh, I was supposed to go green. Good call. Thank you. I will do that after this stage. But there is a lot going on in this stage. I need to jump up here. And then there's a chest there. But I also need to do this. First try. Alright, so that is one of the harder mixes in the run. I mentioned there are 4-frame window, and the wheel there is the 13th power-up in the ability. So I need to, like, spin the wheel. Or I need to get the mix, wait for 12 times 4 is 48 frames, and then press it in the window of frames 49 to 52. Definitely one of the trickier ones, but I got it. And now I'm going to remember the things that people said. And for the rest of the run, we are going to be going green. 4-2 is a pretty simple stage, but it's the first stage where we get to see the wheel scroll in effect. So I mentioned that scrolls were a thing that were in this game that were kind of like upgrades to abilities that you already have. And the wheel scroll is one of the more interesting ones. What it does, it doesn't add any function to the B button, which like most scrolls do, but instead when I run over fire, ice, or like electricity, I can become fire, ice, or thunder wheel, which just kind of adds that elemental effect to my attack. Most attacks in this game, like most like enemies and like yourself as Kirby, have an extra animation to them that like plays when you get hit by fire, ice, or electricity. So That's really the main draw to it, and then also some of them will deal extra damage when they're enhanced with an element. I don't think Wheel is one of them, but I also don't think we ever use Fire, Thunder, or Ice Wheel in an area where we're dealing damage. This level is kind of annoying at times. It's one of those Kirby levels where you just kind of have to go in a door of, like, you have to pick one of 3 doors and hope it's the one that the collectible you want is in. This is why I write down notes. And then also we get a lot of random bubbles that fill up inventory space that I don't want, that I do want open. So I'm going to have to try and find times while playing the game to get rid of those. But I found it. So yeah, this is kind of what I was saying about Doc. He'll get hit once and get stunned forever. And like he's already off screen and he hasn't even called his UFO yet. There it is. He's not a threat. So we get another health upgrade here because we got 2 pieces of one. So that's going to be good for not dying. And then we have this level, which can be very annoying, but we'll see how those parts go. First big thing is this room has a lot of things that can damage me. I hopefully won't get hit by, like, any of them, but... Alright, we're good. Going in the right door, we go on this path with the golden Waddle Dee, so we got a chest there. This dude can be annoying because I need to use wheel jumps to hit him, but I am, like, I don't have a hitbox while I'm rising, so I have to, like, you know, get in the air and then, like, try and curve myself to hit him on my way down while making sure I'm not turning midair, because that's how you take damage. And then in this part of the level, we can get fire to melt these metal blocks. These are different from the metal blocks I broke with the like, triple star earlier in the run. So I do need to use fire to break these. However, fortunately, not only do I have my bonus wheel already, but there's also just a wheel right here. So as soon as I break those metal blocks, I can just start using wheel again. There's something happening I need to deal with. I need to be away for like 1 minute.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess in this short absence, I will talk about the marathon. Just a reminder that we are raising funds for Sweet Relief. They provide financial assistance to all types of career musicians who are struggling to make ends meet while facing illness, disability, or age-related problems. In other words, healing musicians in need. They help musicians with medical and vital living expenses, including insurance premiums, prescriptions, medical treatment, and operative procedures, housing costs, food costs, utilities, and other basic necessities. In March of 2020, Sweet Relief Sweet Relief launched a COVID-19 fund to be used specifically for musicians and music industry workers affected by coronavirus. 100% of every dollar donated is used to pay for medical expenses, lodging, clothing, food, and other vital living expenses to those impacted due to sickness or loss of work. So be sure to hit up the speedrun.com page and donate for this fantastic cause.
I'm so sorry about that. Funny things happen in college dorms on Saturday nights.
That's alright, no worries. Things happen. Glad to have you back.
Also, sorry, I didn't know if the timer was paused, so I didn't, give a countdown. But yeah, now we're in the extra... Yeah, things should be fine now. We're on the extra stage of World 4, which is not really a tricky one. It's a little bit annoying, but, that's about it. There we go. I usually don't have a hard time breaking those blocks, and I didn't really. It's not even that a dude... Or it's not even that I had trouble breaking the blocks, but a dude jumped into the blocks, so that was a big problem there. Enemies in this game are kind of annoying. A decent chunk of them are, stand in place and don't really cause a problem, but the ones that like to jump around are never fun. And this room is not much of an issue. There we go. This level's funny because that end of level door is actually available, early on. So if you're just trying to beat the level, you can just beat it in, 5 seconds by just going to the right. But all the treasure chests are in, the big hidden part of the level, so I have to play the whole thing. I don't know why game designers do that sometimes. They're just this level isn't real. But, especially when you already have to go out of your way to unlock that stage. But, this stage is pretty simple. I just get to the bottom of the course before the box does, and I can grab it. I'm seeing a lot of Bergie. That's what we like to see. So this boss is interesting. I'm actually going to be tossing my wheel and using Tornado. So this is Yadogane. He's a funny robot. He's also not difficult. I say getting hit by him twice and not being able to get my ability back. The main thing of him is just to count how many hits he's taking, because you want to make sure you're not in his hitbox by the time your tornado ends, otherwise you will get hit and lose your tornado. There we go. And with that squared away, we now have Tornado for this next little bit, which is pretty good. Tornado is a bit like Wheel, where you're constantly forced to move in a direction and you're invincible during the main part of the animation. But it has a small bit of differences that are usually positive. It's not as fast as Wheel, so we don't really get to use it for long, but you do get better height control. And you can turn a lot easier, and you're invincible while turning with Tornado, which is also good. But just with Wheel, that invincibility is what makes it what it is, because if you could get hit out of Wheel or Tomato, that would just make them not very good. I mean, you already kind of can get hit out of wheel, and it's still really good, but for the most part, you can't. So, right now, what we need to do is grab fire, because we can use the fire breath to reach this button through the lava fall. And that'll allow us to get the chest. And now we also have fire, which is better for speed than tornado. So we're going to start using that, and I lost my fire. There's another fire, like, real soon. I don't really mind about losing that one. There it is. So, coming up next is a Kirby classic. Something you always see in this fun little series. We have a short ability room followed by a mini-boss gauntlet. So, this level has 3 mini-bosses. Each of them have a different ability they give you. And then each of them, you have to eat the mini-boss to get its ability so that you can get a secret after the mini-boss. Which makes you fight some bosses with some really annoying abilities, but fortunately, one of them is Hammer, which is usually pretty easy. And then the next one is Animal, which isn't too bad. But what this makes us do is this makes us fight the Metal mini-boss, which has a bunch of HP, with Animal, which doesn't really do a lot of damage. That was a pretty good fight, though. And we also don't want to use metal more than we have to because it moves very slowly. So, thanks to the inventory system, this game has a pretty unique mechanic where you can actually hold abilities in your mouth through doors in this game. Or just hold stuff in your mouth through doors in this game, which is different from most Kirby games. Most Kirby games make you spit that stuff out. On top of that, in this area, you can enter the Squeak Squad, like, little... like hideout before the Squeak themselves does, and there will be a hammer in there for you to just let you destroy Storo, and then you can toss it as soon as you beat him, because you don't need it anymore. This level starts with like an ability room area, and when there's 2 enemies right next to each other, you can do a wheel mix. So... we grab wheel into 5-4, and then what we do is we immediately get rid of it so we can inhale this invincibility candy through the wall that usually requires Animal to grab. And then we get our wheel back and we start using it again. This level's really scary, especially in the earlier parts, because there's a lot of fire all over the place. And if your ability, like if you get hit, and then your ability, when you're trying to get it back, touches the lava, it just, like, instantly deletes itself, and, that's really bad. So, fortunately, I'm, like, past the scariest parts of the level. I just need to, beat it now, and actually get all the chests, so I don't have to play this level ever again. Okay. I meant to get that out of my inventory, and then I accidentally ran right back into it, so that's fun. Okay, game. I'll do it now. This, oh my gosh, this race section to get this chest is very lenient, even without wheel, so I'm not, like, the most worried about missing it, even though I wasted all my time. See, we're fine. Nothing bad happened. Alright, yeah, and then if I do that part well enough, I can hit that dock with a very, like, far away wheel jump. And this world, for some reason, unlike every other world in the game, not including the final world, which has less levels, it only has 3 instead of the normal 5. But despite the normal 5 being a setup thing in this game, this world actually only has 4 levels and a bonus stage instead of 5 and a bonus like every other world. I don't know why, but considering this is probably my least favorite world to do in the run, I'm completely okay with this. So this bonus level is where we're going to use that random mix wheel that I got, because if you don't have a speed ability in this area, it's near impossible to get this chest without the Squeak escaping into the hideout, and then you lose a bunch of time because you have to fight the Squeak in the hideout. So that's where the first bit of luck from earlier in the run kicks in. And a little bit later in the run, we are going to start setting up another, like, luck-based mix, but I'll get to that when I get to that. Before I fight this boss, I'm going to go back into this level and get this invincibility candy, because you can just keep grabbing this and have a bunch of invincibility candies. And then we're going to move into the boss. This boss is actually really, really tricky. So I'm going to hope that I get some good luck. This is Bobo. He likes to be mean. So he has a lot of health, like, just to start. So you're going to see this invincibility candy do very little damage to him in general. And then on top of that, he likes to fly into the background. Every time he flies into the background, I can't hit him for, like, a couple seconds. So I really don't want him to do that at all, because that just wastes the amount of time that my invincibility candy has. I don't have 2 invincibility candies for this fight. However, since that invincibility candy in 5-4 just, like, instantly regenerates, since I ran out of my invincibility timer on this stage, I'm just gonna bite the bullet, just defeat that dude with the invincibility candy, because he is annoying as heck without it, and takes, like, very slow amounts of damage, especially with wheel. And I'll just go grab another one. So, you know, this game gave us free invincibility. We're just gonna take it. So this is World 6. It's our ice world. And it's pretty cool. We get to see a lot of ice wheel here, which doesn't really do anything for us, except for actually let wheel drive over. When it drives over water, it turns the surface of the water into ice, which is pretty neat. We're going to use the invincibility candy on this mini-boss because we just have so many, why not? And then we are going to move on. And we'll get another invincibility candy later in this level, actually. So we get to have even more. But this level does have a very scary end portion, which is coming up in one room, so we'll see how that goes. Essentially, what I'm going to do is spawn in a very precarious position, and I have to do, like, my movement near perfect, and if I don't, this dude goes into his hideout, and I lose a bunch of time. He didn't go into his hideout. That's what we like to see. I also got a Burgie in that minigame. So, post Burgie. And then this level has good music, so we're just going to vibe to it. Put an asterisk next to vibe to it, and say loud wheel sound effects. But we're going to try to vibe to it. And then it's the Squeak Squad theme. Oops. Sorry, cool villains need to interrupt your lo-fi beats with villainy. a pretty easy stage. It's actually not, but I did it well, so I can pretend it's easy and be swag. That's what we like to see. 6-3 is actually pretty interesting. So, I'm going to do a mix here, but not for wheel. I already have wheel. But I'm going to actually get hammer. Which, you know, it makes sense. It's a pretty good ability for dealing damage, right? Right? I mean, yeah, you're right. But that's not why I picked it up. So I'm going to hit this one peg, and then immediately this high jump that I grabbed from the boss, I'm going to use that. That's the only thing I need the hammer for, is to hit that one peg. From here, I can just navigate my way through this maze, grab the chest that's here. There's a bit of health if I need it. I don't need it really, though. And then in this area, I can just hold right and press the jump button repeatedly, and once I grab the chest, we're good. The next level has a lot of movement and motion and funny going on, so I'll try to explain it all quickly, but no guarantee that I'll get it perfectly. Oh. I immediately didn't do it perfectly. But, I'm going to grab Bubble and immediately try and get a Fire Bubble and a Sword Bubble. Okay, there we go. I got one Fire Bubble and one Sword Bubble. I'm going to break this to get this chest in a different manner than intended, and then use the Fire Bubble immediately so I have faster movement through this screen. And I mean literally this screen, because once this Tornado dude shows up, I'm going to start using Tornado instead. I'm falling through the floor? It's fine. So we do have a mini boss here, and Ice Tornado does like increase the damage output of like compared to normal Tornado, so I do want to use it for this fight. And then I'm gonna try and do a Tornado jump, which is the same input as a wheel jump, but I have Tornado instead of wheel, just to get some more height. And then I'm gonna move into this area of the stage, where I'm going to grab these two abilities, because this is where I want to start trying to get the mix for, like, my next random wheel. I'm going to use the sword that I have to cut this one rope, and then immediately equip high jump. And now we're going to have high jump for the rest of the stage. So, I finally did it. That's all the ability changing in this stage, so if you want to see if you can get a quick donation or announcement in before the next stage, that would be a great idea.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that we have a new incentive that just opened up for Snow Bros. To change the category to Sombrero Percent, where Ghost Senpai will wear an obscenely large sombrero for the duration of the run. So if you want to see some serious headgear going on during that run, then be sure to donate for that.
That sounds amazing.
That's what I said.
Yeah. So this next level, pretty short, pretty funny. I just funny boned my elbow, so that's how you know it's gonna be great. I'm gonna start doing some, like, you know, mixes and hoping I get the wheel that I want, but I'm also going to equip Ninja, which is the only time I do this in the run. We do have the Ninja Scroll, so what I can do is throw it and then prep this charge attack. And get Spinny in a loop in the corner. Between the Ninja Star used to start the charge and the charge itself. And then I can start doing... I can get Sword in this room. And this is kind of like a boss gauntlet of the three major members of the Squeak Squad, so... Sword is pretty good here because it does a lot of damage. And on top of that, I'm going to keep trying to mix for Sword in the inventory while I can. Oh, there it is. Did I say Sword? I meant Wheel. I want Wheel, and I have Wheel now. So the intended point in the run where I actually need this luck-based Wheel is the end of it. I need it for the last level in the game. But I got it a lot earlier than that, so we take those. And for this next level, the extra stage of World 6, we start by grabbing Wheel. Also, here's the thing I mentioned earlier, where if you just eat a golden Waddle Dee, you will get its chest immediately. But this fight against Spinny is kind of funny, because if we do it right, we can use Wheel to lock them in place in this corner. And if we don't do it, like, my Wheel is most likely gone right now. Yep, there it is. So now I have to wait for them to throw a projectile and get the ability from that and use that instead. I also need to not lose the ability I just got. Fortunately, they give Ninja with one of their projectiles, which we can do the same stun lock that I tried to do in 6-5. But losing the Wheel is kind of annoying. I can just, like, you know, go get it back from the beginning of this stage, but that's still time.
Oh.
What's up?
That's time?
No.
Okay, I was like, what? I was tuned out a little bit. I apologize.
I meant that as, like, it, you know. It does.
Okay.
It's not too bad that I lost the Wheel, but because I can go get another one, but it's just time loss.
Right.
I guess is the better way to put it. Also, that was the Roach. That was the leader of the Squeak squad. He sucks. He can teleport all around the room, and when he's doing that, it's hard to hit him with the invincibility candy, but he was actually really nice and fired his Ice Beam twice in a row. So I was able to just kind of beat him with the invincibility candy immediately, and then we got a cutscene, and then we got access to World 7. So in this game, if you beat World 6, there are these 5 treasures called the Star Seals. There are 5 of them. And if you beat World 6 and you don't have all 5 Star Seals, the game will not let you into World 7, and by extension 8, the last world of the game, until you have all 5 of them. So, in 100% that's not really a problem, because I'm collecting every chest anyways. But in any percent, you literally only collect, like, 5 optional chests. Or, like, you collect, I think, 7. And 5 of them are those. So they're not really optional, I guess. But, like, I just mean, like, non-boss chests. Because every time we beat a boss, we get a chest from that. And fortunately, I kept my Wheel throughout, like, the water part of this level. Something I haven't explained about water that makes this level, and kind of by extension this whole world, because this is an ocean world, the hardest world in the game, is, or not the hardest, but like one of the scariest, is getting hit. If your ability gets hit in water, you can't inhale in water. So if you get hit and lose your ability underwater, it's just over. Also, this room has like a fire bubble at the start of it, which filled up my inventory, and in trying to empty my inventory, I got into a real pickle there with Storo. So, fortunately I got out of it, but that was kind of unfortunate. Alright, so moving on, we have a pretty stage. It is a stage. This room can be very tricky. I'm going to be trying to get this cloud, or this chest in this cloud. I don't really know how it works. It might be a sub-pixel-esque thing, obviously not as exact, but it is very annoying to actually get the game to put you in that hole to give you that chest. You're, like, supposed to use fire to burn the clouds, but we want to keep our wheel if we can, so... There's that. And then we have a fight against this bubble crab dude, which I explained why fighting this dude with wheel is annoying earlier, and that hasn't really changed. That was a good fight, though. And then at this point, there's a fire bubble right here that I'm going to want to get rid of my wheel so I can start using it. I'm also going to get rid of this in my inventory because I don't need it. I also don't want to grab this. There's a lot of inventory management in this run. Kind of one of the more annoying things, and especially one of the scarier things, because, like, in any percent, you don't need to grab 3 chests in every level, so you can just, like, you can just, like, have extra space in your inventory for things like max tomatoes. It's for safety in case you're almost dead. You don't get that in 100%. You do get, like, a bunch of health upgrades and other upgrades, though, so I guess it balances out, but it's still scary sometimes. So yeah, we have fire in this level now, and we can use it to burn through these clouds. For being the ocean world, there are a funny amount of clouds in these levels. Oh well. But this level is pretty simple. It's a few easy screens, and then we just have to swim through this water. So, yeah, not much going on. The next level is a bit more confusing, and we're about to reach that, so I will talk about it a little bit once I grab this chest. You can swim down slightly faster than the chest can fall down in the water, so it is faster to, like, go grab it. And then this level, the first, like, half of this level takes place entirely underwater. So, I have no speed tech, I just have to swim. The swimming in this game is actually some of the worst in the Kirby series. It's very hard to properly swim upwards. And I don't know why they made this like this, but you're swimming upwards a lot slower, and you do have to actively, like, press a swimming button in order to, like, get what you want out of your movement instead of just, you know, holding the direction you want to swim. So, it makes swimming just a lot more complicated than it needs to be, and kind of annoying as a mechanic. And especially with the one hit knocks your ability out in this game, it is very unfortunate. Fortunately, in this level, I don't need my fire ability for too long, but it would help me save time in this room right here. Instead, I'm just going to be doing, like, slides and slide boosts like that. I never explained it, but slide boosting is a mechanic in this game, kind of like the wheel jumps. It's a unintended movement quirk that allows you to get, like, a lot of speed when you slide off of a ledge and puff. It just keeps your speed going. I don't really know what causes it, because it's not really in any other Kirby game, but it looks really cool when done right, and I did it pretty well there. It allows the ability-less movement in this game to actually be pretty neat. And then having no ability in that part of the level is actually really nice because you can just grab the enemy with the chest into your mouth and just immediately leave. I usually struggle to make that room look cool, but I think I did a good job there. And then look what enemy is in this level. It's a wheel. So we have wheel again. And we need to hold forward. And I already messed up at holding forward. If I don't mess up the level any further, I probably will not get punished for that, though. I did get punished for that. Okay. I have to play this level again. It's like 10 seconds long. That's fine. It's time lost, but it's fine. I specifically have to say lost this time. Alright, there we go. And now we just have this extra stage. And this is the pinnacle of one of those Kirby stages where you just enter a random door and hope it's the one that the game wanted you to enter. This is, again, why I write things down. So coming up is our next boss fight. And I'm going to grab sword for it, and then also I have an invincibility candy. Now, Meta Knight has a reputation for being a very difficult boss in every Kirby game. And it's because of his unpredictable movement pattern. Despite his movement pattern being notoriously unpredictable, though, in, like, every game you fight him in, he's actually, like, the easiest boss that we fight with an invincibility candy in this run. And, I mean, it's a nice break. Even then, he can sometimes still be a jerk and avoid the candy enough to not die by the time it runs out, but... like, it's honestly rare that he does that compared to the other bosses we fight with an invincibility candy, where it is sometimes very likely that your candy just runs out. I'm going to take the time while I'm stuck down here to just get rid of that cutter that I don't need. And then I'm going to die, because I got hit above a pit and I wanted my wheel back, and I died for it. Alright, we'll just do some more, just like slide boosting. I don't need to worry too long about not having a wheel here, because everything will kind of realign soon, but I have to do like 2 rooms of this game now without a wheel. And that's kind of annoying. So one time I try and be proactive about taking the bottom path on that part of the level and I die for it. Kind of unfortunate because it is the path you need to go on to actually hit the button. But this part of the level, I need to do a few things. I need to go up here. I need to use this sword to grab this chest from out of bounds. I need to go up here. I need to get the invincibility candy in here. And usually you just want to wheel through this area, but I kind of lost my wheel, so I'm just going to run and damage boost through it. I don't want to be in here. I want to be in here. There's a wheel bubble here already, so I can just take it and then use one of my wheel bubbles and keep my other one nice intact. And grab this treasure chest. This room can be very scary because my inventory is full on dropping. And the chest is very susceptible to falling in pits. And so am I! Alright, well, that's annoying. Guess I'm doing this room. At least I didn't die without the chest in my inventory, because if I did, the chest would just be gone and I would have to replay this whole stage. But, oh well. That was a pretty good slide boost. I think at this point, though, actually looking at the route, I'm just going to use this wheel bubble and then go get a backup one after this stage. Because honestly, there's a chance I could get a backup wheel here and then just lose it anyways. So I'd rather just use the wheel that I already have. This room is really scary because it's very vertical, so if you lose your ability, it can be really hard to get it back. Fortunately, I didn't lose it. So we can move on to this part of the level. And this part of the level gives you Ninja, and it's supposed to show you that using Ninja in this game can actually walk on the surface of the water, which is pretty cool, but Wheel can drive on it. And guess which one is better? So now that I have Wheel in this room, I can just kind of roll through it. And here's where we get a pretty big collectible. We get the last hidden map piece. So what's going to happen here is this metal's going to form, unleash some stuff on the overworld that does not matter. Basically, it turns all the previous mini-bosses in the game into ghosts, which allow you to collect Ghost Kirby when you beat them. And it's a unique ability, but it does not matter in the run. The other thing that happens, though, is the secret map unlocks the hidden area in the middle of the map, which is kind of like an ability room if you played a Kirby game, except since this is Squeak Squad, it puts all the abilities in bubbles. So if I don't get the luck-based wheel mix that I wanted, I just go to that room and get the backup wheel. I did get that mix, however, being bad at the game caused me to instead use that bubble a bit early, so I'm going to go get the backup one for the end of the run. So this last level does have a lot of ability switching, so I'm only going to be using this wheel for like 2 screens. Once I hit this mini-boss, I'm going to use Laser instead. Which honestly isn't a great combat ability. It does a good amount of damage to this mini-boss, but other than that, it's not great. Fortunately, I don't need to use it like at all. Once that's over, I can just get rid of it because I need to use Animal to get the next chest. So I hit that button and that opens this door here. And that allows me to get this chest. And then once I'm in this room, I immediately want to grab this fire enemy. Because the fireball is really good. It's just that simple. And then there's a warp star in this room. So we take the warp star. It's a pretty long one. And as soon as I'm done with it, this room has some dudes with high jump. And I want to take high jump. Because high jump is very good for dealing with some of the things I need to get through in this room. In particular, these metal blocks. I can hit them, get the chest in here. And then I want to get rid of high jump. These dudes are going to all line up for me. Ideally, I would get all 3 of them in my mouth at the same time there, and then I would one-shot this boss. However, unfortunately, that didn't happen. I can try and get another projectile in my mouth here, and I did so perfectly. And then as soon as Doc dies, I'm going to equip that wheel that I was saving up, that I was like saving for later, and just move on to the end of the level. So now it's time for the final boss. After we get this health upgrade. And the final boss is a thing. So to get started, we have 118 out of 120 chests entering it, so I know that we have all the chests. This is Dark to Roach. This is the same thing as the fight we did in World 6, except all the attacks are bigger. That's the only change. He is just as annoying as previous DeRoach, so I need to hope that he does not teleport around too much. He did teleport around a lot more than DeRoach did normally, however, he did not run out the invincibility timer, which is good. The game's going to give me our special ability of this game, the Triple Star Cane. I'm going to hold my wheel in my mouth and just equip it over the Triple Star Cane literally the second I can. The Triple Star Cane is garbage and should never be used. Once that's done, we have one more room to get through. It has some falling boulders, so it can be very annoying because it's also a vertical room, because it means that there are these really big hitboxes on this room where I'm constantly turning around. So, you know, I can get hit, and it's awful. And then we get to the true final boss, Dark Nebula. He's not fun. So Dark Nebula's whole gimmick is that he has 3 forms, and he transforms into them just whenever he wants, and all of them have these different attacks that I'm trying to watch out for. Like, this one does this. This fight can be very scary, because if he does Fire Form, which he is doing right now, there's an attack that can just basically instantly delete your power-up, and I'm trying to hope he doesn't do it too much, or that he switches forms, like Ice Form. The third form is Thunder Form. It's also stupid. And the strategy here is to throw Cutter, because this boss has really long invincibility frames, so the invincibility candy actually kind of sucks, and it's not worth getting another one just to bring here. But I beat him. He's really easy, too, and stupid and dumb, and time is when the screen fades to white in like 5 seconds. Time. That was less than 5 seconds. But that was an interesting run. We can skip the cutscene here, and we can see all the boss trophies. We unlock the boss rush mode. We see the shortcake that we've been trying to get back all game. And we see, if I press start again, the 100% screen. So I got all 120 chests. That was a successful 100% run. I'm not really surprised. I have not missed a chest, like, ever. But yeah, that is Kirby Squeak Squad. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I don't know what game is coming up next, but it's probably going to be really cool.
Well, I'll let you know what is coming up next. We got Lord of the Rings, A War in the North, co-op, any % new game by Zojalix, Texas Warrior, and Slade 4252. So stick around for that and get comfy.
Awesome.